सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः, भद्रं पश्येम अक्षभिर्यजत्राः, स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः, स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः, स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः, स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Seventh mantra. Nantah pragyam na bahish pragyam na ubhayatah pragyam na pragyanaganam na pragyam na pragyam adrishtam avyavaharyam agrahyam alakshanam achintyam अव्यपदेश्यम एकात्म प्रत्ययसारम प्रपंच उपशमम शांतम शिवम अद्वैतम चतुर्थम मन्यन्ते स आत्मा स विज्ञेयः। स आत्मा स विज्ञेयः. This is a exposition of you, because you and I have not completely taken an inventory of who we are, and so this one says this is what you're missing. Look at yourself completely. Don't look at it in a partial way. And all of our problems are because we look at it in a partial way and we don't look at it completely. So that is the classical example of the 10th man story, because the 10th person was full. He was a happy person. He was a student, a good student. He was the son of his parents, he had a teacher, life was good. But all of a sudden there was a problem in his life because of something that he thought he was not. And they were looking for a 10th person. He himself was the 10th person, but he didn't realize that. So because of that, his inventorying of himself was incomplete. And so very similar to that is our situation. The only difference is that there it was a created problem because he didn't have the problem before they started into the river. But in our case, this has been going on for a number of lives. And so all together we take a life, take a birth, keep looking for a complete myself, purnatvam, and we can't find it. So we keep looking, and then for that we have to take another life. It goes on and on. And so finally we asked for Gurumeva Vigachet Shotriyam Brahmanishtam. And finally we resort to this teaching. And there's the teaching says you're missing something. Here, by the way, just I think we've done this before. The question is, which guru should I go to? It is a guru that reveals my error, my incompleteness. That's the guru I should go to. Well, who is that guru? Well, there are so many proxy gurus. There is a real guru and then there is a lot of proxy gurus. This we must understand. You know, we talk about Satguru, who is the real guru, etc., etc. So here the Shastra is very clear. It says, please understand this. There are a lot of proxy gurus that help you find the real guru. And it is the real guru who will complete this sense of something that is missing. And once you have that, you are done. Who is that real guru? So this we should see. We should understand this very well. So there are a lot of proxy gurus. Let's look at the proxy gurus first before we look at the real guru. The proxy gurus are Ishvara, who is your constant benefactor. Constant. We have a lot of other benefactors. The most important benefactor we have in our life is our mother. There's no one who is more solicitous of our well-being. But the mother also just goes away. She grows old and she's not there with you all the time. So, but the Ishvara is with you all the time. So Ishvara is the proxy guru, waiting for you to find the real guru. And the way the proxy guru works is to try to egg you to understand this through the teaching. So the teaching becomes, Shastra becomes the second proxy guru. Then how is the teaching communicated to you? It is communicated through you through a live person who brings the essence of this sense of completeness to you. So that's the third proxy guru. These are the three proxy gurus: Ishvara, Shastra, and a live person. Then who is the real guru? The real guru is what is called Brahmakara Vritti. Brahmakara Vritti is the real guru. So what is this Brahmakara Vritti? The Brahmakara Vritti, this is really the main. Everything else is a helping guru. You know, it's kind of like if you order something from the Amazon, there's a lot of background things that have to be done. You want something delivered to you, but in order for that thing to be delivered to you, there is a lot of background things that have to be done. You have to You have to get the vastu that you are interested in from somewhere. Amazon doesn't manufacture it itself, so it has a lot of sources from where it does it. Then it has to store it so that it's given to you very quickly. I mean, it is just amazing how Amazon has just taken over the delivery of goods. The thing that I had not really realized is how painless it is to return something that did not satisfy your. And I only discovered this like about 5-6 months ago. Before that, I was very hesitant. But I found out that you can go to Whole Foods or to any UPS store. I ordered some clothing. Clothing is a very common thing. And it was the wrong size. And I went to Whole Food to return it. Just took me an instant. You just give the, you know all this. I'm just reminding you all this. So Amazon has become just an amazing, I trust it. It's probably a little higher priced, but I trust it because they can take it back. So the whole shopping, the delivery of the goods has become an amazing experience. So to provide that amazing experience, there's a lot of things that have to be done. That's my point. So they have to have a warehouse, they have to have sources, prices, then a delivery mechanism. And I'm sure that you've done, nowadays the delivery also has improved. They will send you an email that we have delivered it, and there is now a picture of where they put the package. I have a kind of a long driveway from a gate all the way up to the street. And there's so many places that they can put that in. But it is just amazing. So these are all what you might call proxy materials. The whole system, the software, etc. And finally you get something and you say, yes, this is what I want. Similarly, the real guru is Brahma Akara Vritti. That is what delivers the goods to you. All of us are proxy gurus. And we are like Amazon. We are like Amazon gurus. But the good that you get in your hand is the real stuff. So what is this Brahma Akara Vritti? So this we will study in more detail, but just keep that in your mind. So essentially what it means is, you will recognize what you were missing. Remember, this is exactly what happens. When in the 10th fan, there was a lot of confusion, there was a lot of worry, there was a lot of concern about the missing 10th person and so on. And once this wise person that happened to come along, and so the wise person was also a proxy guru, because he just said, what is going on? Why is everybody so unhappy? And once he found out, then he counted quickly and he says, oh my God. So he asked him, this is it? Your problem is that you were 10 and now you think you're 9? He says, yes. Don't bother us. We are grieving because we've lost a person. Then he said, okay, I can solve this problem for you. So he was like a proxy guru. What delivered The real guru were the words, you are the 10th person. This was the real guru. Similarly here, all of us are the entire Vedantic system, if you may, the Amazon system, is trying to deliver the Brahma Akara Vritti to you. That is your real guru. Once you say, oh my God, this is what I was missing, you're done. The whole thing melts away. And it'll happen for any student, shishya. Swami Dayananda used to say that not everybody is a shishya. You know, this is what in the Bhagavad Gita, finally the Arjuna says, Shishyoham. This is a very important word in Sanskrit. So Shishya means Shiksha Yogya. One who is appropriate for learning. One who is an appropriate patram for learning is called Shishya. Swami Dayananda used to say that. You know, for example, he would say, please don't you know, I've been saying that he was a very precise user of words. No extra prefixes and no vagueness in the use of words. Like, for example, he would never say divine. He'll never use the word. If you look at his literature, Swamiji Dayanandaji's literature, his talks, he will never use the word divine. Because what does the word divine mean? We don't know what that means. There's no vastu for divine. Similarly, he would caution us not to use words like good student. Nobody says bad student, but people say he's a good student. Swami Dayanandaji was saying, no. There's no such thing as a good student. There is a word called student, shishya, shiksha yogyata. So the person must have shiksha yogyata. And so for the study of Brahma Akara Vritti, you cannot just take any person out of this world and say, you know, you are Brahman. Did you know that? You know, Swami, I think Swami Akhandananda gave this story, but it could have been Swami, some other Swami, but I think it was Swami Akhandananda. So he gives the story that when the British were ruling India, there were a number of Britishers who wanted to understand the depth of the Vedic teaching in India. So there were some, not all the Englishmen were shallow. Some of them were deep thinkers. But so they wanted to really understand the very essence of what the Vedic teaching is. So they said, who should we go to? How should we learn? So somebody said, you know, you go to these teachers Generally, at that time, Varanasi still is, was the seat of learning, where not all Mahatmas live in Varanasi, but the makeup of the teaching is all done very well in Varanasi. So he went to a teacher in Varanasi and said, "Sir, I want to learn." So this person said, "What do you want to learn?" He says, "I've heard a lot about Gayatri Mantra, that it does wonders for me, and I want to learn the Gayatri Mantra." So he asked him, "What have you studied so far?" He says, I've done this a little bit here and there." So the teacher surmised he really is a kind of not a very deep thinker. He's done he's what is called a dilettante. So he's been just going around trying to gather stuff just to become a little bit more knowledgeable. And so he said, "Okay, now I understand him." So he says, "I want to learn the Gayatri Mantra." So he says, "I will not teach it to you." So he says, "Sir, why not? I even know the verses. I can say Bhur Bhuva Swahadat Savitur. Some I've known that too. I just need the meaning of it." He says, "No, I won't give it to you." So he says, "Why not?" He said, "You are not a shishya. You don't have shiksha yogyata." I explained it to him, what it means. So he says, "Why not? What do I have to do?" He says, "Quite frankly, here's what I think I would, if you ask my opinion on what you have to do," he says, "I'm sorry to say this, you have to die and take birth as a Hindu and then come to me, then I will explain the words of that." So he did not teach it to him. This is the story which Swami Ekhanananda gave. And Swami Ekhanananda says, this is something like, and I think I've given you this example before, so forgive me if this is a repetition. There was a story about a king, and the king had a friend from high school. He was, and this guy was a Rajkumar at the time, and he became a king. In the old days, there were a lot of kings in India. There was 200 plus kingdoms in India before the partition, before 1947. So he was one of those kinds of kings. But he went to high school with a friend. And so this friend visited him when he was a full king with a huge kingdom with people and so on and so forth. So he came and they both shook hands and they embraced and said, "Wow, what beautiful days were." So they were reminiscing. So this friend just wanted to play. He said, "Well, you've got so many soldiers and who are, and so on." He says, "Will they take your order for something?" He says, "I'm the king, and so if I tell them something, they will do it." He says, "Let me try that." He told the 2 or 3 soldiers, "Arrest this guy, this king, arrest him, and put him behind bars." So these soldiers looked at him. He says, "What the? Is he gone mad or what?" So they didn't move at all. They just stood there, doing nothing. Then the king told the soldiers, arrest this guy. They did not spend a second in pouncing over him, bound him. And before he was taken away, the king said, you need to be qualified for what you are doing. You are not qualified. So similarly, Swami Akhandananda says that this Englishman, in the estimation of the teacher also has to estimate, because you don't know everybody very well, that this is not shiksha yogya. So therefore, to go back to Brahma Akara Vritti, and to go back to words of Swami Dayanand Ji is called a student, Shishya. You have to be ready and qualified. This is not something ordinary. This is not like getting a cake from a bakery. This is the most profound thing that anyone can ever acquire, which gives it equates a person to Ishvara as being Purna. This is the Brahma Akara Vritti. That is the real Guru. And so the rest of the passages, the preparation, the supporting logic, the effort by both a live person and you, sahana vavatu, sahana bhunaktu saha viryam karavavai. He just takes a lot of stuff. But this is all proxy. All proxy. There's all Amazon in the background working hard to deliver this one thing for you. And really just amazing. I'm so amazed at how Amazon became so useful in our lives and therefore successful. I think one of the best things that they did, I don't know whose idea it was, it must have been one person's idea, to have this Prime, Amazon Prime. And what that did was, it removed the worry of delivery charges from one's decision whether I should buy or not. And the amazing thing is, I think I recently bought something which was like $10. And my son and daughter-in-law used to tell me, both the son, guys, don't go to places to buy, just order it from Amazon. And we were saying, I don't know if we can do this. What if we don't like it, this, that, or the other? They said, no. They're all set up to take things back. I am amazed. I just bought something for $10. And for this whole delivery, the UPS guy came, he photographed it, left it in a package, and so on and so forth. All this for a small thing. So similarly in Vedanta, there is a lot of setup, huge setup. And the setup is to, if you are a student, I should never use the word if you are a good student. Either you are a student or you are not. And I can even, from the people that I know, I can tell who is a student or who is not. And I would say that the one thing that I see in distinguishing a student from a non-student is the non-student is too casual. Vedanta is one of many, many things that they are doing. I'm very busy with this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Oh, by the way, I'm also studying this. I remember this, I won't make a name, I was a very good friend of mine. This is about 15 years ago. So she started to, and this is what happens to many of the people, that you become successful and you're getting on, your kids are, and so now you want to study something which is spiritual, because now you want to say I want to understand what is spirituality and so on. So she was asking around about, does anybody that can teach Bhagavad Gita? So they said, yeah, this is about 15 years ago when I was actually teaching Bhagavad Gita quite actively. And so she called me, sent me an email saying, I understand you're a teacher, I'd like to learn that from you. And by the way, I'm moving, she used to live in Fremont, and I'm going to live in close to where you live. So I said, this is wonderful, that's great. In fact, the classes were in Milpitas at that time. So I said, please come and attend some classes and so on. From the very beginning, I could tell that she was just curious to see what Bhagavad Gita means, how is it talked about. I think she attended like 10 classes, weekly classes, 10 classes, gave up. So I asked her one time, I said, what happened? She says, it's a little bit too far, I cannot do that. Not a student. So this Brahma Akara Vritti cannot be gotten by non-students. But if you are really interested, you are not just curious. And how that happens, how are you really interested is it's a Bhagwan's Kripa. And the Kripa comes from a lot of different factors. But one of the main factors is that you must have some problem in your life. But not too much. If you have too many problems, health problems, money problems, and so on, you'll never come to Vedanta. And if you have no problems, you'll never come to Vedanta. You can come to Vedanta, but it will be curiosity. There must be something behind you which says, I am not completely happy. How do I do it? This is what is called Brahma Akara Vritti. So then a recognition, this is where again I go back to Swami Dayananji, because all my thinking, my training, my exposure, Swami Akhandananda came much later, and he's really sort of completed the whole thing for me. But it all got started by the foundation of Swami Dayananji. And Swami Dayananda used to say that you just have to decide, this is what is important to me. And if you do that, then oh yeah, that's the word I lost the train of my thought. I mean, the energy would never use the word realization. That's the word I was going to do. You know, people use self-realized. And I think that you can. It's not wrong. But he really used the word recognition. When you recognize the Atma, through a Mahavakya, Ayam Atma Brahma, and if you understand this, this is another thing I'm talking so about other things that I haven't even come to the main topic that I wanted to do. Hopefully I'll do that. But let me continue on with this review of other things. So, here's the thing. If you say something to someone, if you use language to say something to someone, that person must know the meaning of the words that you are using to convey the request. The language must be clear. Only then, not only the language, but the connection between the thing that you are asking somebody to do something, the connection between the thing and the words you use to do that must be very clear. Otherwise, and I'll give you an example so this will become clear in a minute. Why I'm really bringing this up is a correct understanding of the Mahavakya, like the one that we have in Mandukya Upanishad. Ayam Atma Brahma. This is Mahavakya. So why is it that we do not understand it? Yet. We will. The reason is that any vakya here means sentence. This is a sentence. It's not a bunch of words. We just says, you are Brahman. This is what it is saying. It's a vakya. And the reason that we don't yet understand is because I don't understand the words used in the vakya. Okay, I'll complete it. Let me give you the example right away. If you're not Hindi speaking, some of you are, you will understand it, but if you're not, I'll just give you that example. Supposing I say in Hindi, you're sitting in front of me, and I say, ये किताब मुझे देना. So you're sitting there and there's some bunch of books. And I tell you, I request you, ये किताब मुझे देना. जरा ये किताब मुझे देना. This is what I say in Hindi. Now, if you don't know Hindi, nothing is going to happen to you. And it's very possible, Swami Khandananda gave this example, very beautiful example. He says that suppose I gesticulate and say, ye kitab mujhe dena. It's like saying, give me this. So he might hand you a glass, a tumbler. And what I wanted was a book. Why does that happen? Why does he not understand? Even though I am actually requesting, please, in fact, it's interesting. That's even a better example. If I use a partial Hindi and partial English, so I'll say, please give me this kitab. Yeah, that's better. Please give me this kitab. So this person doesn't know what kitab means. He's guessing now. And there might be some cups and saucers and so on. He might give me a cup. And it all stems from the fact that I don't know, that person doesn't know what kitab means. Another example, one corollary to this is, and this is, we have used this example before, that the word book must be associated with the thing book. We have used this example before, where you show a picture to a child and say, this is a book, this is a book. And yet when the real book comes in, the child cannot yet associate the real book with the word book. So that's another corollary. But leave aside that, you just say, please give me the kitab. And he gives you the wrong thing because he doesn't understand what the word kitab means. So for the word kitab, meaning a book, you must know the language, and you must know that a book is called kitab in Hindi. Actually, this is an Urdu word. Yeah, I should use, it's not even Hindi, this is an Urdu word. In Hindi, the word is pustaka. Anyway, that's a separate thing. Let's now come to Mahavakya and the Brahma Akara Vritti. That was the subject. So the reason we do not, nothing happens in our mind, just like nothing happens in the mind of somebody who will say, Mujhe ye kitab dena. It just seems like a foreign language. Has no association with reality. Nothing happens. And a person says, I don't understand what you're saying. So Ayam Atma Brahma Tattvamasi is exactly like that. How? Why is it like that? Because for Vakyartha, for the meaning of a sentence to be clear, Shabdartha must be clear. For the meaning of the sentence to be clear, the meaning of the words must be clear. And if they are not clear, the sentence doesn't make sense. Don't make any sense. This is why Tattvamasi doesn't make any sense. Because the meaning of the word Tvam must be clear. And the meaning of the word Tat, which is a word, must be clear. You must know exactly. That's exactly like saying, once you know this is called pustaka, or a book, or kitab, in whatever language. Swami Kanananda says this in his Brahmasutra Bhashya. He says the words are not important. In any language, it doesn't matter. But there must be a direct understanding of abhidhana and abhidheya about a word and the vastu that it refers to. That must be clear. If it isn't, nothing is going to happen. And so Tattvamasi is only clear if I know what Tvam is. The seventh mantra explains what Tvam is. Sa Atma Savigyeya. Na antah pragyam, na bahish pragyam, na ubayatah pragyam, na pragyanaganam, na ganam, na pragyam, na pragyam, aptrishtam, avyavaharyam, apadeshyam, etc. What it is not, it is not, it is not. What are you? Once that is understood, who I am, and then the word Tat is also understood. Brahmakara vritti becomes the, oh my God. And so what happens is, that the mistaken conclusion about Tvam is with an upadhi. So now come back to the main topic. So the mistake we make about the Tvam is that we take it with an upadhi. It's a colored view of the Tvam. And the same thing with Tat. And in very simple terms, it's very interesting to see this. Just give you a initial introduction to this Mahavakya Tattvamasi or Ayamatma Brahma. It's the same thing, really. Same different words are used. Like for example, so these are all synonyms. They are not giving different meanings. They are synonyms. You know what a synonym is? Synonym means there are different words to describe the same thing. It's called a synonym. So it's interesting. in the Shastra, there are three things, there are three words, sorry, not things, three words that are most commonly used to describe the same vastu. Sat, Atma, and Brahma. Like, for example, in the Chandogya Upanishad, it says, Sadeva Saumya idamagram asit. Sat eva Saumya. Hey Saumya, hey dear, my dear son. Sat eva idamagra asit. The whole, before the Srishti became expressed, it was Sat only. Then in Aitareya it says, Atmava are idamagra asit. And in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Brahma eva asit. Idamagre asit. Idamagre means in the very beginning of the Srishti. So they are all describing the same phenomena but using three different words. Sat, Atma, and Brahma. So I am Atma, Brahma, and Tattvamasi. So Tvam here means the Atma. Are the same. So now let's go back to a very quick, can hardly call it an introduction, it's just a quick summary of this Mahavakya Tattvamasi. What it says is that you are viewing yourself through an upadhi. Don't do that. Means you are wearing some colored glasses that are coloring your view of who you are. So your definition of who you are is within upadhi. And what is that upadhi? What is the most important upadhi for you that you're using? We're going to go into a lot more detail, but in summary, what is the main upadhi? That I am a limited person. This thought, this conclusion is the main upadhi for you and I. And then what kind of a limited person varies? Everybody has a different varies. I'm young. I am stressed. I'm hopeful. All these are variations on the theme. But the main theme is underlying the constancy between all of these thoughts is I am just this much. And even this much also varies. I'm young, I'm old, I'm small, I'm big, etc. But underlying all this is the upadhi, which is aham parichinna. Aham limited. I am limited. Okay? So this is the main upadhi for tvam. What is the main upadhi for tat? Just think about it. If the main upadhi for tvam is parichinnatvam, what is the main upadhi for that? That means you can say is Ishvara, let's say, God. The main upadhi for Tat is parokshatvam, not here. That is the main upadhi. You know that's there are three possibilities of the presence of something. Either it is in front of you, what is called pratyaksha. Front of you means in you cognizable, or it is paroksha, not here. Like at this moment, Hawaii is paroksha. Just a thought in my mind. That's it. It's not here, assuming you're not sitting in Hawaii at this moment. So there is pratyaksha and then there is paroksha. Of course, the third thing, which is what we are going to really focus on, is aparoksha, which is the Atma, I. Because the I is not in front of you. It's not a pratyaksha vishaya. Neither is it paroksha. It can never be paroksha. Eyes can only be aparoksha. In fact, I is the only thing that can be aparoksha. Always aparoksha. So Ishvara is paroksha. It's a figment of my imagination. I don't put parichinnata to Ishvara. Parichinnata means that it is limited. Because my sense of limitation is very palpable, it is very real. I don't ascribe that to Tat. So the Tat can be aparichinna, can be infinite. But it's a very funny thing, infinite but not here. I don't know where the infinity is. I don't know where a God is. But certainly not here. So the upadhi for tvam is parichinnata in summary, and the upadhi for tat is parokshata. The Mahavakya says, please, 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 do not see things through upadhi. Don't see things through distorting glasses, colored glasses. You can if you do. I mean, this is what we are doing every day. Can you please take off your glasses? What is the upahita, not the upadhi? Please pay attention to not the upadhi. It is not the blue color of a crystal. I know you're admiring the blueness of the crystal, but for a minute, please see the crystal itself, not the colored version of it. And the non-colored version of Tvam, the Upahita Tvam, not the Upadhi Tvam. What is given in the last part of it. Ekatma pratyaya saram prapancha upashamam shantam shivam advaitam chaturtham manyante sa atma savigyeya. So this is a version of Tvam. Not a version, but this is the Tvam without the Upadhi. Chaitanya Swarupam, in other words. Chaitanya Swarupam. Sentient. So the sentient you is not parichinnam. It is not limited. You are the seer of limitation. Just close your eyes and say, I am the seer of my limitation. The seer of my limitation. I am the seer of myself as a jiva. I can see it. It is the truth. This is the Chaitanya Swarupa. You know, we talked about Brahma Akara Vritti. The Brahma Akara Vritti is just as well known in our Shastra as Akhanda Akara Vritti. They're probably more generally known as Akhanda Akara Vritti. You will see it in literature somewhere. Akhanda Akara Vritti. Akhanda Akara Vritti means a thought that I am Chaitanya Swarupa, which is Akhanda. Looking at the Upahita, Upadhi, which is Khanda, Khanda, Khanda. Khanda means parts. Every thought has parts. There is a past thought, present thought, future thought, this thought, that thought. They're all different. They're parts to it. But the Chaitanya is Akhanda. I am. I am. This is the Chaitanya, which is Tvam. That is the you, without the Upadhi. Right? It's not a philosophy or speculation. This is you. This is Vidya. This is in recognition. Okay? Alright, so we are only dealing with Tvam at the moment. And now let's go to Tat. What was the upadhi for Tat? That it is paroksha. Right? Take off the upadhi of the Tat as well. Just like you did take off the upadhi of the Tvam, take off the upadhi of the Tat. How do I take off the upadhi of the Tat? The Chaitanya of remoteness cannot be remote. Because the thought of remoteness, of not here, must be Chaitanya. There are not two Chaitanyas. There can only be one, and there is only one. Can that be different from you? No. Why not? Because it will become remote. So the Chaitanya of remoteness is the same as the Chaitanya of Parichinnatvam. There's only one Chaitanya that have two upadhis. One is a Jiva upadhi, the other one is Ishvara upadhi. But the upahita for both of them is the same, which is I am Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam. This is the Brahma Akara Vritti. This is the Akhanda Akara Vritti. The moment you see this, you have a different view of what you are, what the world is, what God is. Different view altogether. This is what needs to happen. And that is the real Guru. The rest of us are all proxy gurus. So the analysis of upadhi is very vital in the understanding of what's going on, who you are, what God is, what the world is all about. It covers the whole gamut. And the entire Mandukya Upanishad, from get-go, is to present this Mahavakya, Ayam Atma Brahma. Mahavakya means a sentence of identity. So this is what happens. That once when I say, please bring me a kitab for me, then this sentence makes complete sense if the language is known and the words have a corresponding vastu that they are associated with. So similarly here also, in the Ayamatma Brahma or Tattvamasi, I know the words and the vastu. Here the vastu is me, I. Sa atma sa vigyeya. So vigyeya means visheshena vigyeya. It should be exactly known. I'm not talking about a table, bring me a table or anything. I want a book, very specific. So once that happens, then the Mahavakya is understood. And once the Mahavakya is known, this is why it is called Mahavakya. The whole thing changes. Everything is completely different. What is Satyam, what is Mithya, what is Karma, what is Jnanam, what is past, what is future, the whole thing just has a different feeling for you. Not just feeling is just a simple word, but so the Mandukya does a great job, and so we will now continue on. We'll review the Bahishpragya, the Antav Pragya, all finally culminating in this very important mantra which we have been studying now. I think for 25 days, I was looking at my own notes, for 25 weeks. We probably have quite a few more weeks to go to clarify. And I hope it's clarifying in your mind. Om Asatoma Satkamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. So Keshav, I think if you substitute Paramatma by Ishvara, which is a formful thought rather than a formless thought, then one can say that Ishvara is not here. But ultimately it all comes together, so you were right in that sense. All right. So we will have a class next Saturday, which is the 26th, is it? Yeah. But not have the following Saturday where some of us will be at Salisbury. And in fact, we will miss 2 Saturdays, isn't it? Yeah. So because we're going to leave on Saturday early on the 3rd and come back on Saturday the 10th late. So we will miss 2 Saturdays, right? So we will have a class next Saturday, but after that there will be 2 Saturdays that we will not be there. And I think anyway, we'll talk about that later. All right, very good.